So let's move on to talk about the journey of the divine masculine and the divine feminine again. Okay, because we've already started to cover it once. We're going to start to go over it again. Because there's actually a couple different ways to look at it, right? It's more than one way to skin a cat, is what they say, which I ain't about no animal abuse, so don't judge me for saying that. Now, when we're looking at it with all of the numbers up and through to the 10, which y'all know based off one of my other videos that I'm going to post, that I have a whole different thought process with the Roman numeral system when we include looking at through the mirror, through the looking glass, okay? Wow, through the looking glass. That's another phrase. Through the looking glass. Now, there is things where people talk about the curious observer, the witness, right? Like as if there's a part of us that's just so pure, it's almost just like a witness, that internal place between us. Through the looking glass. If we think about light and dark, where is the separation between light and dark? Through glass, through mirrors, there's always a veil. There's always a veil, which the high priestess is the one who can see through the veil. Okay. Now, for the divine feminine, we talked about how that's the high priestess and the empress. So just to save space, that's the 2 and that's the 3. The divine masculine we looked at as the 4 and the 5, the emperor and the hierophant. Okay? When you have, like the ancient studies, the 3 plus the 4, when you have the empress with the hierophant, that equals chariot energy. That's a 7. When you have the, did I say the hierophant? The high priestess, Lord Jesus. The empress with the emperor equals a 7, chariot energy. The high priestess with the hierophant is another 7. Okay? Now, the divine feminine being the 2 and the 3, that adds to a 5, that's hierophant energy. You have the emperor. I told y'all it was windy and that one's just on the edge, living on the edge. When you have the 4 and the 5, then that is taking you to that hermit energy. Okay? 7 and 7, empress and emperor being 7, high priestess, hierophant being 7. 7 and 7 is 14. Hierophant plus the hermit is 14. Okay, so that is temperance. When masculine and feminine come into balance, feminine and masculine coming into balance gives us temperance. This is one feminine, one masculine, we get a chariot. One feminine, one masculine, we get a chariot. Both of those chariots together, we have temperance. So there is something to be said about internal and external balance. High priestess and the hierophant, those are your spiritual teachers. Those are the teachers of the unseen. Okay, so this is your inner feminine, inner masculine, who understand spirit. They understand the unseen. That is one aspect of divine feminine coming into balance with divine masculine. It's through high priestess, hierophant energy. Okay. And then you have your earthly rulers. You have the Empress, who is the ultimate nurturance energy. And you have the Emperor, the ruler of his realm. Both of these are earthly rulers. Both of these are spiritual rulers. Okay? Now, oh, there's just so many places to go. All right. Because as I look at this as this being God, this being source, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, which we are within, everything in the universe is within God. Okay? The unseen, right? We got to count for the unseen, which a lot of people were not really thinking about zero, right? But the unseen and the seen. Something being made manifest. You got the fool and then you got the magician. Okay, manifestation energy. So the unseen and the seen. And then the Wheel of Fortune being like that wild card, like, all right, now we about to go to another level. Once you get to the 10, you about to go to another level, right? That's when we start to get into 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever. All right. So there is something to be said about balancing our internal masculine and feminine, which I believe that's inner union. I mean, it's kind of both, right? Because you got your inner union, but then also that external, like when you can really create, when you know who you are, that's that external masculine and feminine of yourself. But for the purpose of the examples for this video, we're going to relate to the internal balancing of the masculine and feminine as far as inner union. And then the external balancing of that masculine and feminine is when we're talking about relationship with another. Okay? So the journey of the feminine, which I look at the 5 as the heart. Okay? Let's get down to the heart of the matter is an expression, right? The heart being in the middle of your body. You got your head and you have your feet. Aries, Pisces. Aries energy being the head. Pisces rules the feet. Okay, so you got the head. And I'm saying the head over here, but it's androgynous. So it really could be either way. But you got the head, you got the feet, you got the heart, you got the body, right? Did they say something about like Christ being the body or something about like the body of the church and things like that? I'm not a Christian, so don't be judging me, y'all. I just love the Bible, and that's just something that I'm able to quote. And I will say that multiple times because this is not me advocating advocating for Christianity or not advocating for Christianity. I feel like everything is God. And everything is in God. So everything that we're studying is about learning God, learning about ourselves, learning about the universe, learning how to create. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I just want to make sure I make that clear. So let's say this is the heart, and you got feminine over here, masculine over here. So the feminine receptivity has to get into expressive energy. It has to go towards the positive polarity. The expressive energy, the yang energy, has to go toward receptivity. Okay? So the feminine is walking toward, the receptive is walking toward the expressive. The expressive is walking towards reception. Okay, so that's another way that we're going to look at it. So 5, this is where the masculine and the feminine meet. They meet here. Okay, so the feminine starts to walk this journey from the Fool to the Magician, High Priestess, Empress, Emperor, and to the Hierophant. And the masculine is walking from the Hermit, Strength, Chariot, Lovers, and here to the Hierophant. So the feminine, being fully receptive, comes into understanding that she has everything that she needs, learns how to discern and make decisions, learns how to nurture those decisions and create, learns how to come into her own authority. And also the 4 is about structure, foundation, and comes into inner union, comes into Hierophant energy. The 5, this is also a place that I look at as where we meet God, right? When you come into the heart, when we meet in the middle, meeting in the middle, that's compromise, right? So the masculine learns to become an inner seeker, learns the start of the masculine's journey is to go within. The start of the feminine's journey is recognizing that she has everything that she needs already. So the masculine at the beginning of his journey, I'm saying his, but the divine masculine at the beginning of their journey recognizes that they need to go within. It's like that scary feeling, I think, for the masculine, or and this, we're going to get into also about Cancer energy. It's interesting when we think about Cancer in the zodiac, which Cancer naturally rules the 4th house. The 4th house, Emperor energy. That's in the 4th house. That is about our inner world, our private life. I have looked at Cancer as the first one to really see its shadow and was potentially afraid. And if you stay in that distorted energy, can hide there and attempts to live from the shadow instead of allowing light to shine in. The hermit has to go into the darkness, like going within, being willing to go into the shadow is what I'm going to say. But then look at how there's just all of this light. I really find that like a beautiful picture for the masculine. It's like the feminine, which is the receptive energy, starts in the light. Look at all this light. But the masculine feels like they have to walk into darkness. But they find strength, right? The card of Leo, which Leo rules the sun. That's like masculine energy, right? But we have a picture of this woman here. That's very interesting symbolism. So the masculine becomes willing to go within, because really you ain't getting through this door without full integration of self. There's no going to the next level if you don't have balance. So the divine masculine goes from the hermit to the strength, and then the chariot, which this is about balance and this is about choice. Like this is like integrating, and this is still making a choice. It's just interesting how the feminine's path versus the masculine's path. Okay? So being willing to go within, you're finding this inner strength. There's also only 3 cards in the tarot, I believe, that have the infinity symbol on it, which is the Magician, the Strength card, and also the Two of Pentacles. Fascinating enough. The Two of Pentacles also has the infinity symbol on it. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I will come back if I made a mistake, if there's any other card with an infinity symbol on it, but I don't believe so. You can see the Two of Pentacles here. The infinity is the 8. It's wrapped around. And again, the joy of the Lord is our strength. The infinity, the 8, the 44, the strength. It's on the strength of the universe. It's on the Magician. It's on the Strength card. And it's on this Two of Pentacles. Very interesting that there's 3 cards. Y'all see I finally did my nails. That there's 3 cards that have that symbol on it. And the universe works in 3s and 4s. 3s is nurturance. 4 is structure. 3 is love. 4 is like foundation. You know what I mean? Triplicities and what's it called? Quadruplicities in mathematical terms. Triplicities and quadruplicities, which is interesting in astrology because you have the modalities cardinal, fixed, and mutable that's in 3s. And then you have the elements that are in 4s. You got earth, air, fire, and water. Wow. Earth, air, fire, and water. Very, very fascinating. But again, that's Empress, Emperor energy. It's all over. Divine masculine, divine feminine. It's all over. You low-key can't have one without the other. And if you try to do one without the other, you're going to be incomplete. And I feel like you can still make something, but it's going to be faulty. It's like building something on quicksand. Okay? So both masculine and feminine wind up getting to this energy. Now, again, the divine feminine, they say, when I say they say, it's repeated within collective consciousness that the feminine leads the way, the Fool, the beginning of our journey, right? Which to me, this is an androgynous energy, but the feminine leads the way. So the feminine comes into this first. If we're looking at it starting at the Fool and then the Magician. But the Wheel of Fortune, you got the Hermit, then you get to that infinity symbol on the Strength on the second one. The feminine gets to it on the first one. The masculine gets to it on the second one. Now, how interesting as well that the Magician over here, it's like a masculine image. And then the Strength over here, it's a feminine image. Interesting, the constant ping-ponging, the constant, like, it's never just like, oh, the masculine's like this, the feminine's like this. It's like it's always both. It's always both. There's that positive, negative polarity, the one end, the other end. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, You can't have one without the other. There is no light without darkness. You can't perceive light without understanding darkness. Anyway, so this is the journey that the masculine's taking. This is the journey that the feminine is taking, and they meet in the middle. Sacred contract, Hierophant. It's looked at as a card of marriage and things like that. So you can start to see how these things are coming together. Head on over to the next video for part 3.